What's up, guys? I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never, and welcome back to another Miggles update. If you enjoy this style of content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, none of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Okay, so it's been close to a week since my last Mr. Miggles video, and you can see that Mr. Miggles is currently trading at a $14.6 million market cap. Now, simply from a technical analysis standpoint, not a whole lot has changed. You can see that we are still retesting the previous 2024 support. If you just zoom in on the technical analysis, you can see that price action is starting to flatten out a little bit though, which is good to see. Oftentimes when you see price action starting to flatten out, it can mean that you're close to reaching a bottom. Now, as I usually like to do in my Mr. Miggles videos, I'm going to show you guys base Memecoins ranked. If you come over here and you look at Mr. Miggles, you can see that it has dropped a little bit beneath Keycat and Doginme from a market cap standpoint. However, from a volume standpoint, it's still even higher than them. The reason I always bring this up is because Keycat and Doginme both had their time when they had a spot Coinbase listing. And you can see that Keycat currently has 1 million in volume, Doginme is 924K. If you look at Mr. Miggles, you can see that it has 1.1 million in volume. Now, I will say over the last 7 days, Mr. Miggles is down, but Keycat and Doginme are up. But if you go and you look through some transactions, you'll see that a lot of that is due to 1 or 2 big wallets that were selling some supply. What I like to personally see is the volume. I love to see that Mr. Miggles has better volume than a lot of these projects on here. Volume shows interest. Now, if you come over here and you take a look at the Mr. Miggles X account, you can see they're at 66.8K followers. And they just posted 2 hours ago. If your aura ain't blue, you ain't crew. But there really hasn't been any major news for Mr. Miggles specifically recently, but there's been a lot of crypto market news. So I'm mainly going to go over that in today's video because that is going to have a major impact on a project like Mr. Miggles. It's going to be heavily influenced by the rest of the market. And you can see that Bitcoin has actually fought its way back over 106,000. Ethereum has fought its way back over 3,500. The reason this level is significant for Bitcoin is because I've been telling you guys for the last week to watch the 50 weekly moving average. I've been saying that price action was trading beneath this level and we would love to see if this candle can fight back above it. And you can see that this candle actually did that perfectly. So we did end up having this wick which liquidated a lot of long positions, but we still closed above this level. That is exactly what we were wanting to see for Bitcoin. And I want to continue to point out the stochastics for Bitcoin. If you zoom out and you look, we have extremely oversold stochastics. And what happens every single time we have extremely oversold stochastics? We had extremely oversold stochastics right here. Price action put in higher highs. Extremely oversold stochastics right here. Yet again, price action put in higher highs. Same exact thing right here. Price action put in higher highs. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that we're going to put in higher highs yet again, but it is something to keep in mind. The other thing that I want to point out is both of these last previous pullbacks retested what level? The 50 weekly moving average. Same thing right here. And you can see that price action yet again retested the 50 weekly and we closed above it. I know a lot of people are super bearish about the market right now, but technical analysis absolutely says that we could bounce. The other thing that I want to make sure you guys understand right now is that there is a lot of predictions happening right now that quantitative easing could start in Q1. If this ends up happening, this could be extremely bullish. We already know that quantitative tightening is coming to an end on December 1st. A lot of people don't understand that during the last altcoin season in 2021, it was a time of quantitative easing. We have not seen quantitative easing since 2021. So if QE starts on this front, we are no longer fighting against the Federal Reserve. Even just quantitative tightening ending is huge for crypto. So there's definitely a lot of overall macro news that is bullish for risk on assets. We've also seen consecutive rate cuts and there are predictions that we're going to get rate cuts again. Now, if we come back to the crypto market, you can see that the crypto fear and greed index is still at 29 though. We are fearful. I've been telling you guys the whole time. It's crazy that we're seeing fear in the market right now, especially when we were extreme fear. And extreme fear was just about a week ago. We were down at like 19. That was insane to think about it. People were acting as if Bitcoin was down at 30,000 a coin. I'm telling you right now, you have to have perspective. I'm going to use Ethereum as an example. If you look at Ethereum right now, you can see that yes, we did end up losing the 21 weekly moving average. However, similar to Bitcoin, we retested the 50 weekly, but we closed above it. But even after this Ethereum pullback, we are still at $3,580 a coin. It was only back in April that Ethereum was $1,380 a coin. So if you're taking that into consideration, it's pretty easy to understand why we could be bullish right now. And for Ethereum's case, similar to Bitcoin, the stochastics are yet again extremely oversold. The last time we were extremely oversold was when price action was at $1,380 a coin. So I personally think it's possible the crypto market is lining up for a very nice bounce. Not to mention with Ethereum specifically, you could argue that this is a textbook support and resistance flip. Previous resistance would now become support. So obviously we'll have to see what happens, but both Bitcoin and Ethereum look pretty good. And the reality is if Bitcoin and Ethereum Ethereum breakout, I personally believe a project like Mr. Miggles could do very well. I want to be crystal clear with this project. This is absolutely still my favorite base play. I think they're still doing a lot of things the right way and they are grinding behind the scenes. That is very important to see. There are very few projects that are out there attending events and building up their network during a market downtrend. I say this all the time, but you have to understand every single project out there looks good whenever they're pumping. What projects are continuing to grind whenever the market's pulling back? Those are usually the projects that survive in the long run. And we know that Mr. Miggles has all kinds of connections to Coinbase. And I know a lot of people out there are worried about a Coinbase listing specifically not meaning as much as it used to. But I just want to say when you have these kind of connections, it is not just a listing that can make a project explode. There are all kinds of ways that Mr. Miggles can explode in the future. But honestly, that's about it for the update today. Just understand the overall market conditions. There is a chance that market conditions get significantly better. But as always, if you guys are interested in Mr. Miggles, market updates, and just getting into projects super early in general, then I always recommend you take a look at my Discord. As you guys know, I first posted Mr. Miggles in my Discord on day 1. So if this is the kind of community that you'd like to be a part of, you can find the link right here on my YouTube homepage. I'd love to have you guys in here with us. But that's about all. Let me know down in the comments how you guys are feeling about Mr. Miggles. If you enjoyed this content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.